right, welcome everybody to our first day of class at Renman University. All right, everybody come on in, all you folks on the internet, file on in. It's room number 1125, I'll wait. All right, all your backpacks on the ground. Let's turn off all those cell phones. No eating in class. All of that stuff you've heard a million times before. First off, let me thank you for joining us here today. We're joined by some folks here in the studio audience today. I know we got lots of folks out there on the web that are watching us today. Who we got out there today, Michelle? Anybody showing up?
Yeah, we got a lot of people showing up today. Thank you, guys.
We love that.
We appreciate it.
We love that. You know what, folks? I reckon we're all here today because we love music. Fair comment, I'm a lover of music. I know all the people working here are lovers of music. It's why wouldn't we love music? You know, we've been around it in one way or another forever, right? You know, you grow up, you're probably playing music. Okay, we're gonna get to that, all right? The rogue stinger coming here. By the way, folks, this ain't like your normal university, that's for sure. That old music, you know, we're surrounded by music our whole lives. It plays, you know, whether we realize it or not, it plays this huge role in our lives, you know. Your mothers were playing music while they were trying to calm down, giving birth. You listen to it on the TV, you listen to it on the radio, you see it in movies, you hear it in elevators. We're surrounded by music, you know. And one of the things that I've figured out about music and why I think it's so powerful for people and why they're so attracted is that it becomes this backdrop, this background music to these great moments in your life, right? Everybody can remember the first time they went on a date, their first kiss. Any great moment is typically associated with music. You know, this music, it inspires us in so many ways. I was here this morning practicing, getting ready for our Renman U session. And my favorite way to fire up, as some of you folks that have watched our web show knows, I turn up Van Halen freaking loud, okay? And when I'm done with Van Halen, I'll turn on the Rolling Stones, Street Fightin' Man, right? Because it inspires me, it gets me fired up, it gets me in the mood to go out and do something big, you know? Over the years, you know, we were talking a little bit about Incubus before we started. I've gotten so many emails and messages over the years from people that were going through difficult times in their life, that were having trouble processing life in the world that we live in, and that music has consoled them in some way, a lyric that struck a nerve, you know, a thought or a chorus that spoke to them in those moments of need. And so this music has this powerful ability to move us and inspire us and take care of us in all these moments, right? When I think about the music business, right, and the people that are associated in the music business, or music people in general, we're all music lovers, right? But what I've learned over the years is that if everybody is in the bucket of music lovers, there's a couple other buckets that are in there. And there are people that are artists and musicians that want to not only listen to music, right? They want to participate in music. They learn how to play piano. They learn how to play guitar. They learn how to play drums, and they do that. That wasn't me. I didn't learn how to play an instrument, but I love the music part of it. But I was one of those people that went to concerts and stuff, and I loved the process of music. I loved what went on behind music. So the three buckets of people that I look at always are the music lovers, the biggest bucket, and then the artists that make the music, the people that want to be involved in the creative process, and then in my line of work and in the people that I've dealt with over the years, a whole group of people that are interested in being part of it from the business side of it, the people that are going to help artists make that music. So those are the three buckets of music lovers that are out there. And I tell that because I want to tell you a story that I hope kind of sets the stage for all of you as we're trying to think about this music business and how to succeed in it, right? Imagine, if you would, right, that we were going to take three buddies, three girlfriends, three guys, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? and that they all started around the campfire in a neighborhood, right? And so they would go over to people's houses, maybe they're 10 or 11, because it seems like about the time you start to become a little bit of a man or a little bit of a woman, music starts to mean something to you. It means more than just the backdrop. You're starting to pick your favorite bands, you're starting to find your favorite songs and your favorite albums and all of that stuff. And so these three friends go out there and they start indulging in music. They're trading records, trading their favorite stories. I love Van Halen, I think they suck. I love the Cocktail Twins. Oh no, they suck, right? And they get involved, and as they get a little bit older, maybe now they've started to go to some concerts, and they went to their first concert together. I went to the Rolling Stones. It was my first concert I ever went to. A lot of folks have heard it if you've watched our show, but I went with 8 of my buddies to the Rolling Stones, right? And it was at the Forum. I'll never forget it. It changed my life in a lot of ways. But there were 8 of us in the row, right? And as it turned out, a couple of us became musicians. You know, a couple, more than a bunch, went into other businesses, but never lost their love for music. I still would see them at concerts over the years. And then there was, I think I was the one of the bunch that actually wound up going into the music business, right? And so if I take the path of the music guy, not the music lover, that's me, that guy loved the music, went to concerts. I was the guy that was always sitting there looking around at that concert, sitting there watching the band, of course, but I was very early on attracted to what was going on around it. I would see a guy that was walking out and standing at the sound desk with his arms folded, looking very important, and everybody coming up to ask him what his opinion was. Everybody was going, hey, can I talk to you? And I'm sitting there looking at that guy. His name was Peter Rudge, as it turned out, thinking, you know, that guy's the man. That guy's the man. I saw all the people that were walking around on the stage. I'm wondering, geez, I wonder how they do that, because the production manager guy was always the guy on the stage walking around, and everybody was asking him. So I was very conscious of the people that were making things happen at the concert, right? If you're a musician, let's imagine that one of those 3 buddies decides that he's going to start playing music. And so he learns how to play his guitar. Maybe his mom or his dad gave him one, and he learns how to play it. And of course, mom and dad just wanted him to have some fun. They weren't really trying to get him to do this for a living, but they started doing it. Now imagine your best buddy at school, you know, he's got a drum kit now, right? And your other buddy, he's not the greatest musician, so they give him the bass guitar, and he's gonna be the bass player, right? And then one guy decides, well, what do you do? Oh, frick, I'll be the singer. We had Nate Roos in here the other day, back when on our show, and I asked him how he became the singer, because I just said I was going to be the singer. And I said, okay, great. So they form a band together, right? And they're playing in their garage, keeping the neighbors up at night, and all of a sudden they say, you know, let's play a gig, right? Because they've been doing all the covers of all the Led Zeppelin and AC/DC, all that 3-chord stuff. They started to write some. Now they're going to go do a gig, and so their friends show up, right? And then their friends bring more friends. And then all of a sudden, it's not just playing to their friends, they actually get a gig at a bigger club. And now all of a sudden, they're starting to attract some attention, right? And people in the business that are frequenting these clubs start to show up, and somebody offers to be your manager, right? And then they, should we get this guy? Should we not get this guy? Then maybe they go on and get a record deal, right? And now they're in the record business, and that brings on a whole new cast of characters, right? And so this plays out on, and now maybe they put out that record and it gets on the radio and it's successful. And that brings a whole host of other people and issues and things to think about into the mix. And the point of it is that these people all started as music lovers. That was it. And then they started to separate into these 3 buckets. And what happens is the big bucket is always the music lovers, the people that just enjoy it, right? But something happens to those other 2 people, and they start to show signs of wanting to get something more out of the music. And when you ask people, musicians and people that are thinking about being in the business, ask them why they wanted to do it, they always tell me the same thing: because I have to do this, right? So if you're one of those folks out there in the world today, whether you're here in the office, in the studio, or watching on the internet, this is where you should be, okay? This show is for you, okay? Because you've said that I want something more out of it. You said it's not gonna be a hobby. You've said this is something I wanna do for my life's work. So for me, my job in this, it's been my job for my whole music business career, particularly the last 16, 17 years, is to help people understand what it is they're getting into. The business people have to be the realist. The musicians can be a bit more of a dreamer, but they both got to understand exactly what they're getting into if they expect to succeed. The same way you'd have to learn the tricks of any trade or any business if you're going to succeed. And so the only way I know how to do this, folks, is to be honest about it. I'm a realist. I'm not an idealist. I'm not the guy that believes that songs just float. You know, I'm much more cynical than that. And so my job is going to be to help people understand exactly what it is they're getting into. So first thing I'm going to tell you that I learned very early on, and it's never, ever gone away, and that is this. This business is freaking tough. Put it on the board. This business is tough. Got it a little bit earlier, Steve. There we go. This business, that gag always works. We're a little out of work here, out of practice, folks. This business is tough. I kid around about it, but I say it all the time because these guys who've worked with me know when anybody starts crying about how tough the music business is, I go, what is your point? Of course it's tough. I already freaking know that. I don't need you to write it. We're not going to waste any time on it. So we put it up here. Might as well put it on the door when you walked in. It's there every single day. How tough is the music business? The biggest record in the whole business last year was Justin Timberlake, sold 2.3 million albums. Now let's put that into perspective. In my lifetime, I saw records sell 30 and 40 million copies that had the same amount of heat, that had the same amount of things going on for it. This music business is tough. Things are changing all the time. institutions that were the big players, MTV, radio, you know, big time publications, Rolling Stone, aren't what they used to be, right? The tough part about the music business, no matter what you do, no matter how talented you are, there's no guarantee of success, right? All the time, people want me to tell them, what do I have to do? Victor and I have talked, what do I have to do? If I do this, this, and this, am I good? And I go, you got to do this, this, and this. Are you good? I don't freaking know. There's no guarantee of success. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to it. It's unlike so many businesses out there. There is not a tried and true path. What works today could not work tomorrow. A genius today could be a bum tomorrow. The bum today could be the genius. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Consumers today are driving. When I got in the business, the record companies told everybody what to do. You'll shop on Tuesday, you'll pay $15 for the one song on this record that you really want. The rest of it is just us, you know, raking you off over the coals a little bit. But those days are gone. There was a day when people bought albums. Today, they buy the one song. The genie's out of the bottle. That's a huge change, and then the ripple effect of it throughout the industry is huge. Radio, I'll say it, I don't have to worry about it now. K-Rock, I used to listen to all the time here in LA. Now I listen to satellite radio all the time. I'm switching the dial, no commercials. It's much different. My son, who's working here today, listens to most of his music on YouTube. Okay? They don't listen to radio. They don't listen to things the way I did. People are listening to music where they want to be, not where the music business wants them to be. So much has changed in the business, and I'm here to tell you folks that the music business was never easy, okay? But it's gotten tougher. It's gotten tougher in so many ways, but the flip side is there's some other things about the music business that are much better for people like yourselves that are just starting off today. And so that's what we're going to be talking about here, getting people where they want and understanding that it's all changed. Let me tell you something that hasn't changed. And all this chatter about, oh, it's different, Steve, it's changed, it's too tough. Great songs is what people are interested in. Great performers, people are still interested in. People still want to see their favorite stars play, whether it's Ben Kenny, whether it's the Rolling Stones, whether it's No Doubt. You pick your poison. Jay-Z, Kanye West, Justin Bieber, doesn't matter. People are still paying to see their favorite stars, More people are listening to music than ever before. Maybe that's how many of them aren't paying as much as they used to pay, but they're still listening to more music. One thing hasn't changed at all either, okay? When there were 5,000 records a year coming out in the business, it was tough to stand out from the crowd. Now anybody that's got an Ableton, an iPad, a laptop can make music, right? Anybody can release a record, right? Anybody can do it. So this issue of standing out from the crowd, and you're smiling, right? How do I stand out from the crowd is as big an issue, an even bigger issue today, because there's so much more traffic and so much out there. So getting heard, which was always an issue, is still an issue today. This business of music exists to support that notion of great songs and great performances. Record producers, radio, record studios, recording, engineer equipments, and all of that stuff is there to serve the recording, the making music side of it. And the tools that you have out there today, if you're a musician, are just an unbelievably terrific stuff. The stuff that you have to work with as musicians is 10 times, 100 times better than what George Martin, the greatest producer in the world, did with the Beatles. So you have all these opportunities out there, but it's built on great performances. And the things that we're going to talk about over the course of these next 12 weeks are going to give you some information that are going to give you some idea of how all that stuff works and how you can make it work for you, okay? Lots of people are dreaming about success in the music business, right? You guys got any dreams here? Victor?
Yes, I do.
What's your dream in the music business?
I'd like to get a nice recording contract
Okay.
so I can perform
Okay.
on a broader spectrum.
Okay, Nora? Shy Nora.
To see as many great performances as I can in my
Okay, so
lifetime.
yours is easy. How about you, John?
To sign a major record label deal.
Okay, so you're an artist. Okay, great. Let me tell you something about dreaming. Okay, you guys, if you watch our show, you've heard it before. The dreaming part is easy, right? You can sit around the campfire with your buddies. You can drink beers, do whatever you want to do, and talk about conquering the world, right? And it's perfect. You don't have to take anybody. It's going to happen. We're going to kill the world. I'm going to be bigger than this. I'm going to be bigger than that. The dreaming part, I find, is really easy, okay? Anybody can dream. There's always a perfect ending. Everything works out, and that's what a dream is. If it didn't work out, it'd be a nightmare, right? So what I've concluded over the years is that the dreaming part is the easiest part. It's also essential to have a dream, to have a target to get you out of bed in the morning. But it's the doing part that's messy. It's the doing part that invites in risk. It's the doing part that invites failure into the equation. And what will my friends say? What will my father say? What will my girlfriend say? If I fail, will I look stupid if I tell everybody I want to be an artist? And they're going, dude, he's not an artist. Are you kidding me? What is that all about, right? So this doing bit is what gets really freaking messy, right? Now, I'm a dreamer. Always have been, right? I dreamed of winning the US Open. I dreamed of playing on the PGA Golf Tour. I dreamed of making putts and making millions of dollars. That dream didn't work out for me, right? And I had a new dream. When I went back to college, I decided that I would become a lawyer. That was my dream. But the point of it is the dreaming was easy, the doing is tougher. But I want to show you for a moment what the face of a dreamer looks like. I want to show you the 22-year-old Steve Rennie right there, okay? Notice hair, no lines in his forehead. I'm going to say I look good, all right? I look like Chuck Boyd, okay? I look like the Marlboro Man there. That was 22 years old when I was just dreaming, okay? and hadn't even booked a concert, hadn't thought about being manager, hadn't thought about working at a record label or working at an internet service. That's the face of a dreamer. This is the face of a freaking doer. This is the face right here of the music business. This is the face of fear, of paranoia, of insecurity. This is the face of disappointment and heartache. This is the face of desperate moments, okay? That's what this face is right here. It's also the face of a guy who's done things that I never dreamed possible because I sat there and dreamed and committed to doing something about it. This is the face of a guy who sat there and walked for 16 years with one of the greatest bands in the world, and we conquered the fucking world, okay? So I've had great satisfaction in this whole business, but this right here, folks, that's the face of the dreamer, and this is the face of the music business right here, and everybody should know it. It's tough, it's getting tougher, but it's not freaking impossible. So, for all the folks out there that are watching here today and in the room, I can tell Nora's getting a little scared here, right? When people ask me about should you get in the music, I don't know whether to talk them into it or talk them out of it. Truth is, I always try to talk about it. I talk this way to people because if they're going to get upset listening to this, they don't have a chance in the real world. So the first question of the day I'm going to ask all of you folks and the people online is, are you in? Are you in for the ride here? John, yes. You're in. You think you're going to make it in the music business?
Yes, I do.
You do. And you're wearing a USC shirt, and I guarantee you that's a good freaking start. Nora, you got the easy job. Are you in?
Definitely.
Oh, you're in because she's smart. She's smart, okay? Victor Haitian.
All in.
All in.
Yep.
Now, we did a little poll online. Did that work today?
Yeah,
Okay.
we got 100% in.
100, Joe?
100%.
I can't hear you, Joe, with your megaphone.
100%.
100% in. Okay. God. See, I had a good feeling about you bunch, okay? Because you got to be a little bit lunatic. You got to sit there and throw caution to the wind. You have to sit there and calculate the odds and go, I'm betting the 1 out of 100, the 1 out of 1,000, the 1 out of 1,000,000. And your friends are going to tell you you're freaking crazy. Your friends are going to tell you you're nuts. Your mom's going to tell you to be an accountant. Your dad's going to tell you, come on, Victor, quit screwing around. Go back to law school. And Nora is going to watch her kids enjoy music. And then when they want to go play guitar and get me a guitar, Mom, you're going to be going, oh, I'm thinking about that crazy guy, Renman, who scared the crap out of me, okay? But I knew that you folks weren't going anywhere. So, if you're all in, okay, let's get started. My name, Steve Rennie. My friends call me Ren or Renman, and you are at Renman U now, and you can call me the Dean, okay? Now, if you're gonna do something great today at class, and you're gonna walk out of here and get fired up and inspired, I can assure you of one thing that I've learned the hard way. Not the hard way, I accepted it very easy. If you're looking to do something big, right? And you're looking to do something great with your life. I'm not talking about just showing, I'm talking about doing something great. Building a company, building a band, writing an opera, whatever it might be. My experience tells me that it's typically bigger than one person, right? And if it's bigger than one person, you're gonna need some help, right? That is just obvious. So when I'm doing this show here, I'm doing this mentoring because I love talking to people. I love talking to people that are interested. I love people that I sit there and beat them up and try to, and they go, no, dude, I'm taking my seat. Those are my kind of folks here. And I'm surrounded by folks here that help me do it. So I want to introduce them at the top. You're going to get to know them over the next 12 weeks. To my left, by the way, Michelle.
Yes.
Are you in?
Hell yeah, I'm in.
Okay, Michelle, nice gal. She's a performer herself. Graduate of The Voice, right?
Yes.
A musician, singer, songwriter herself. She's in, and so she's going to be handling all the chat room stuff today. I want you folks online, I can't see you, but we got a little trick to make sure that you're paying attention here, and if you don't answer those polls, I'm going to boot your ass right out of here, okay? Only people sitting here that want to be here. Michelle writes it on the chat room in Blackboard once we get to some lessons here. Back in the corner, who we can't see today, is the keyboard wizard. He handles the TriCaster. His name is Darren LeGros. He's the guy flipping back and forth and tolerating me for the last year and a half. He also is one of our key guys, or was still one of the key guys on Incubus. Over on the left-hand side of me, on what I call the glam cam, is Matt Rennie, my son, who also aspires to do something big in the music business and is dreaming and is now starting to do himself. And he already knows what he's in for. Cody Romness, another Trojan right here, is sitting there right there on that big cam right in the middle to make sure that I stay where I am. How am I doing so far, Cody? Fight on. Fight the heck on. All right. And then, of course, in every organization, in every band, in every management company, you need the steady Eddie, the guy that's unflappable, the guy that just makes it happen. I say do, he says done. His name is Joe Lyric, and he's behind there, and he's helping us with all the poll taking here today at RenmanU. Okay, that's our team. Somebody was asking me today, they said, well, look, Manny, what are you looking to accomplish with this RenmanU? You don't get paid for this, right? I said, here's what I want to do. I was talking to the manager of Green Day. And I said, you know, Pat, I'm interested in inspiring people to do something great. And the reason I do that is because it makes me feel good, it makes them feel good, but I think it's important that musicians feel inspired to make music. If you thought about this long enough, you would become an accountant. He'd be a general contractor doing something, building a house, and at some point the music goes away. And as we talked about at the top, it's too important, it's too big a part of our lives. I'm doing this because I want to help not only inspire people to do it, but having spent 36 years in the music business, this face, right, I have an idea of what it takes to succeed, and I want to share that with people. But more than anything, once you've committed to do something great in the music business, I want you to understand that the decisions you make after you've committed, the decisions you make after you make that music, have as much to do with your success as perhaps making the music. And those aren't an act of inspiration, those are an act of calculation. That's doing your homework, that's showing up and making something happen. So, I mentioned earlier, we'll introduce you formally. Right to my right, fuck the gatekeepers, nice shirt. Introduce yourself formally to all the folks here.
Hello, Internet. My name is Victor Hightan.
Where are you from, Victor?
From St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, Mo. All right, but how long you been out here in LA, Victor?
About 2.5 years now.
You came out here to chase the dream?
Hopes and dreams, yeah.
Hopes and dreams. Okay, all right. I know this about Victor. I've met so many people online over the years. Victor just keeps showing up, all right? And that is, you can't hit a home run, you can't do something great unless you show up, folks. I know I'm going to sound like your old man badgering you, but it's true. The lovely Nora, the talented, shy Nora. You're doing better, by the way. What do you do, Nora?
Thank you, Steve. Hi, Steve. I'm from Rancho Cucamonga. And
Rancho Cucamonga, the Inland Empire, we call it out here.
Yeah, and I'm just looking for that perfect situation, perfect job right now. So,
What, in the music business or anywhere?
preferably in the music business,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that. And to your right, in that fine, how about that, Code? You steal that out of your locker? Okay, John. What's your last name, John?
I'm John Paul Puno.
Okay. And you went to USC or you just stole
Yeah,
that
I'm
t-shirt?
an alumni.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
fight on.
When did you graduate from USC?
2007.
2007. What did you study at USC?
I went to the film school.
Okay, you went to the film
Yeah.
school. But were you involved with the music at the film school?
I was studying like opera, like at the same time as the film, and then I decided after graduation to do my dream of music, which is my dream since childhood.
Okay, so we're going to turn you from a dreamer into a doer. That's good stuff. What are some of those folks online interested in, Michelle?
Yeah, we got a lot of answers. Let's see. I have to scroll up. Everybody is being so talkative. It's great. I asked them a while ago. All right.
All right, let me help you while you're...
I got it.
Joe, put another poll in there. We're going to ask you, I talked about those buckets at the top, folks. These folks have identified the bucket. We got musician, and we got music lover. I'm going to reserve judgment on who the smart one is. You people online right now, put it in there. Are you a musician? Are you a music professional or are you a music lover? Michelle.
Yes,
do
I'm
we
a
got?
musician.
Musician and a music lover.
Yes, that's true. So we got a lot. Yeah, okay. One of my favorite ones is from I Am Demure. It's to be a successful female-fronted rock band. Go females.
Yes, I have met I Am Demure. Lorraine, good to see you here
yeah.
again. She never stops wanting to learn either, folks. Shows up, keeps showing up. She's got a job she's trying to make. Who else we got on there, Michelle?
We got Strike Firefall. He wants to be a manager. Like
God
you.
bless you. Okay, he's definitely got a couple screws loose, but we're going to tighten them up for you here over the next 12 weeks. Who else we
We got
here?
Awesome Amy. He wants to do what you do also.
Awesome
I want to manage
Amy.
a band. Awesome
Did she
Amy.
see the part of this is the face, Amy, right there, okay? Take the picture of your face now, all right? Golly, I'm trying to talk him out. What else we got in there, Michelle?
We have a music lover, not musically talented, but just wants to be a part behind the scenes.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, we got performing, touring, got everything, managing, promoting.
Gotta love it. Joe, scorecard, megaphone, what do we got happening there?
You got 50% music business professional, 35 musician, and 15 music lover.
Oh, you gotta love. Don't you love the internet, folks? Okay. You know, it's funny. For years, people have been. You know, I've spoken at a number of universities. Seems like you've been to every one of my gigs here, Victor. Whether it's Loyola Marymount, Berkeley School of Music, USC, my alma mater, Wharton School of Business, and all that stuff. And people have asked me from time, hey, you should come by and teach. You know, a whole course. And I've always resisted it because I thought I'd be a horrible teacher. So, and here I am starting my own little thing here. If this is your first time here watching the show, this is not the show, our first time at the Renman University classroom, and you haven't seen any of the other internet stuff we've done, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've worked in this music business for 36 years now. I'm 58 years old. I started as a concert. First, I started as a music lover. And then I started booking shows in college. I started as a concert promoter with Avalon Attractions after I'd started my own company, couldn't get a job. There's the moral of that story. I spent about 7 years there at Avalon, which is now part of Live Nation. From there, I became a manager for a brief stint, handled a bunch of English bands and a couple American bands. From there, I spent about 4 years at Epic Records as a senior vice president general manager. That was my title. My real gig was being the in-house manager. The guy who worked there at the time loved to hire managers. I stayed there about 4 years and had the opportunity to learn a lot about the record business from the inside. And I'm going to share some of that experience, and I'm going to share some of the things that record company people would prefer that I not talk about. I left there to become an internet entrepreneur. I started with a company called Artist Direct that was at the very first wave of the internet wave, where we were attempting to connect artists and their fans for communication, for exchange of music, for commerce. And we were well ahead of our time, as it turned out. But the things that we were talking about and the ideas that we were trying to sell then have largely become mainstream here 15, 16 years later. When I left Epic, I picked up a band called Incubus, who I've had a lot of success with over the years and had a wonderfully, thank you very much, had a wonderful ride with. I retired on Friday, so I've left that part of my career behind with some of the greatest memories you could possibly imagine. And while I won't share all of the details, I'm going to share with you some of the experience and the knowledge that I learned along the way of dealing with records and promoters and touring and band relations and artist relations and all that stuff. And finally, as I said, I've been a manager for the last 16 years, and now I haven't lost my passion for helping artists, but I have I'm definitely looking at doing it in a different way now, where it's just like we're doing here today. So what's this whole Renman U thing about? I think if you're interested in learning about the music business, you three are here today. I've had people in my office for years coming in here asking for advice. Sat on that very couch. It was in a different place. As you can tell, it's well worn. I'm happy to teach people about the business. So you guys are here today. All you people watching online have been invited in my office. And if you're interested in learning about the music, I think I can be a great resource for you. Whether you're an artist or a music professional, or even, Nora, just a music lover, okay? I guarantee you can learn something here at Renman U. If you're an artist, what are you gonna learn? I can't necessarily help you write a hit song. Victor, I'm not a musician. Ditto for you, John. But I can give you all the backdrop that happens after you've written a song. We're gonna help you perhaps by introducing you to some people that can help you with the actual writing the song part of it. But what I can do is help that once you've written that great song, and if you believe for 1 second that the decisions you make after the music is made have an impact on the outcome of its success, then I can help you put context to all of that stuff. And while I can't help you write a great song, I can give you a big idea of what's supposed to be happening, who's supposed to be doing it, and how it needs to happen to make it work for you. And I think that is great. It's a great backdrop for musicians. You still got to write the songs, but understanding the game is important because it's not just the act of creativity. The second you come out of your bedroom and you want somebody else to hear your song or pay to hear your music or pay to see you live, then you've entered the music business. Now, if you're a professional and your job, like mine for many years, whether it's promoter, record company, or manager, was to help artists fulfill their dreams, then how do you do that if you don't know who the players are, what they do, how they're supposed to help you, and how to get them to do the things that they're supposed to do to help you? Well, you can't. How do you play a game, basketball, if you don't learn a jump shot, you don't learn how to dribble? If you learned how to dribble and learned how to shoot, but you didn't understand you have to do it between the lines, you can't elbow a guy in the face, you don't know the rules of your game, right? Then you can't succeed, right? So if you're a professional, you're the person that's in charge of what I like to call the plumbing, okay? And if you understand the game, it's easier to play and ultimately easier to succeed if you get it and you're good at it. Okay, so what's this Renman U thing? Renman U, like so many ideas I've had over the years, started as kind of a gag, right? You know, I've talked to people over the years, I'm the king of one-liners. People, Rennie, you should teach a class. You should start a school. And so I said, yeah, I'm going to start a school. One day, Mikey and I were on a plane talking. Yeah, Rennie, you should start a school, man. You should start a school of rock, right? And so I played with that ideas in various incarnations over the years. And so I finally decided to do it. So what we're going to do here over the next few weeks is, Renman used a 12-week course. I said, why 12 weeks? I mean, because the truth of the matter is I've been doing this for 36 years. We're not going to cover but just the most general overview of the business in 12 weeks. But it occurred to me that Berkeley Online School, that was 12 weeks. USC's 12 weeks. You know, Santa Monica, I thought, they're 12 weeks. Okay, great. So we'll make it 12 weeks. So that's how we got to the 12 weeks. What is it? It's my take on the music business, right? It's based on my experience. It's based on my impressions and my battles won, battles lost. It's all based on my walking through these 36 years. Other people might have a different take on the fundamentals. I'm convinced it would be the same, but it's my take. It's a music insider's take. I'm not a blogger. I guess, you know, somebody called me a blogger. I guess I don't consider myself a blogger. I'm not somebody writing about the business or commentating on the business. I'm not at a school with a parking space and a credit card for the commissary and a, tenure. I don't know about tenure. My tenure was, we better keep doing this great while it lasts, okay? So it's a music insider's take on the music business. The approach that I would take, and why I think it probably won't work inside a real university, is mine is like reality school of music, okay? I didn't read a book about this stuff. There were no videos for me to watch about, here's how you manage a band, or here's how there was none of that stuff going on. So the Renman U that you've walked into, if you haven't already walked out, everybody still there, Michelle?
Well, yep.
Okay, good. It's a sturdy, hardy bunch here. This is reality-based stuff here, folks. There's no theory. Maybe I'll write a book one day, but it's going to have, some kind of parental guidance thing on it for sure, Now, like most colleges that have a campus, we don't have a campus here per se, kind of, okay? You guys walked into it. There's no ivy-colored covered brick walls here, right? Nora's going to know. We didn't have a big parking facility, did we? You parked down there on the street. I hope your cars are okay. We don't have a football team like USC. We don't have a fight song like USC. Maybe one of you two would like to work on that, or any of you folks watching, if you can give me a fight song in the next 12 weeks, hopefully by next week, that would be awesome. My son went to college. He was a big frat star, he tells me, and I believe it. Cody, too, he's smiling. We have no frat houses. I'd love to have a frat house. I'd love to have a frat party. Maybe we will at the end, but we got no frat. We got no finals here. We got no test. I'm not grading your freaking homework, and I don't give a shit if you show up or not, okay? I'm not checking attendance, okay? They got none of that stuff going on. And I'll tell you something else we don't have going on, and this is big for all you people that really want to learn the music biz, all kidding aside. If you show up each week, all you folks out there, you show up, there's no tuition, but you got to show up at the appointed hour when we're here. No crying, no excuses, no, my dog ate. I'm not interested in that. So you show up on time and tuition is free, okay? What we do have here at Renman U is we've got an experienced faculty, and I'm going to be the dean of the class, the dean of the Renman University Music School. And that faculty I referenced, well, I'm going to introduce you to some of these folks lately, because these are people that we've talked to over the years that have shared their insight and experience. And for all intents and purposes, these are the best professors that you could ever have. What do we have? We also have students. People that give a crap, that want to do something great in their life. Every great university, you got to have a great group of people teaching, and you want to have a great group of students. SC has had a great group of students over the years. People have gone on to do unbelievable things in the entertainment business, and the science, and sports, and music, and all kinds of things. So great teachers, great students equal great results typically. What else do we have? We don't have a real campus, as I said. But the good news is, unlike parking down at USC, it's very easy to get into Renman U, right? No matter where you live in the world. You lived in St. Louis, now you're in LA. We'll talk about that location. But no matter where you are in the world today, there's no excuse for you not to be at school today. There's no tuition, there's no parking lot, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff, because all you got to do is get on the internet. You can walk through the door on your desktop, your iPhone, your iPad. It's as easy as pie. Now, I mentioned that we'll come back to the campus here in a little bit. As I mentioned, it's all free, but you got to show up. Now, when you guys signed up today, okay, you'll notice you had to give us your email address. Now, over the years, people, I don't want to give my email address. Well, that's easy. If you don't want to give your email address, you're not even watching right now. And I don't care, because it's free. Okay, I want to make sure you're showing up. That's what I'm interested in. I want to be able to communicate with the people afterwards, okay? So if you can't give us your email address, I don't want to hear about it. If you miss class, if you miss a broadcast, okay? You didn't show up. You didn't show up on time. Whatever your excuse was, that's going to be a little bit of a problem, okay? But if you signed up for the class, we're going to give you limited access to archives after the fact. We're going to do very similar to what we do up at Creative Live, if any of you watched the program I did up there earlier this year. We're going to send you an email with a password that allows you to go back and hear the class again. Because if you're going to SC, when you miss that class, John, you get a chance to get the professor go, hey, professor, can you do that over for me? Did he do that for you?
No, we had
no.
the agenda.
How much were you paying there?
Like
$50,000. $50,000, and they wouldn't give you a mulligan?
No.
A redo?
No.
Oh, Jesus. And what was I asking for? An email address?
Yeah, an email
You
address.
get my drift, folks, okay? Show up, get involved, and it's free, okay? That's the deal. When we're all said and done with this, if you folks like what you see, and in the interest of me paying for, not for me, I'm fine, but for the rest of the folks that you see working in here today, he's free, he's not. He's kind of free, but I've been paying for him for years. He's the most expensive guy. Those two guys behind there, everybody's getting paid. Michelle is doing it out of the kindness of her heart, but I'm going to help her some other way. All right, so that's the deal. the most important thing, folks, the most important thing is you got to participate. Now, I'm going to tell you a story that I know Victor's heard before, right? I used to be a caddy when I was a kid. He's smiling at Hillcrest Country Club. And it was the greatest gig in the world. I got a chance to play golf for free. I got a chance to get out in the air and all of that stuff. Thank you, Code. And I used to caddy for this little old lady named Mrs. Ellis, a little old Jewish lady at Hillcrest Country, kind of had this bluish gray hair, and she was very fond of me. So she kind of took me under wing. So I'd caddy for her every Tuesday and every Friday, unless it was windy, then she wouldn't play because her hair would get messed up. And so we would talk about all kinds of things. She was always offering me advice on stuff. So I think at one point I got to, I had some issue with something. I don't know, maybe it was a girl I wanted to ask. I couldn't bring myself to do it. And she said to me, I remember sitting on the 17th, she goes, Stevie, if you don't ask, you don't get, all right? You don't ask, you don't get. And it was great advice 40 some odd years ago. It's still great advice today. Because if you don't ask, you don't get. People are afraid of the no's. Oh, what if they say no? Well, I got news for you, folks. You only need 1 or 2 great yeses in your whole career to make a difference, okay? So if you're afraid of the no and you can't ask for the yes, where do you get? What does that equal, John?
No.
Are you any of you guys a golfer? If you don't hit the ball to the hole, can you make the putt? No. Same thing, folks. You don't ask, you don't get, and you don't learn anything. Okay. We talked about what you guys are dreaming of. What are those folks in the office? We talked about what they're dreaming about,
Yes.
right? Okay, I'm out of sync on my slide. One screw up, put it on the board. Okay, we'll clean it up next time. Let's talk a little bit. We're talking about university and learning and all this. Let me talk about how you learn the music business, because it's different from lots of things that you study in college. Accounting is accounting, science is science, math is math. The music business, I'm not even sure what it is, but let me tell you how you learn the music business. You can learn the music business in college now. You can take courses about it, right? Mm-hmm. You can take a course in opera, you can take a course, in how to play piano and all that stuff. When I was in college, they had a music school at USC, but they didn't have a business course, right? This is kind of new stuff. So I went to college, and where I started to learn about the music business in college. And for any of you folks that are watching here today that are at a college, here's some places that you can learn if you aren't even in the music school, right? You can be on the concert committee. That's what I did, okay? I got into student government because I was going to be a lawyer, and then found out that the guy who was booking concerts at Santa Monica College, I don't really like talking to agents, Steve, and I don't like talking to record companies and managers. And I'm thinking, oh, that's a little strange, He goes, well, would you mind doing it? I said, do it, fuck yeah, I'll do that. And so I did, right? So I started booking concerts, and that was where I started to turn in that guy, which is, hey, I'm doing this now. I'm the man, right? So that concert committee, you don't have to be the one booking the show, but being a part of it, being the stagehand, being the production man. There were people on our concert committee that didn't want to book shows at all. They agreed with the other guy. Oh, I don't like dealing with those guys. I want to be a stagehand. I want to be the guy that's up there screwing on the lights. There's always some nerdy guy who wants to be the sound guy. Sorry, D. I don't mean that, but loves tinkering around with dials, man. I got hell with the dials, man. I want to go out there and count the money is what I want to do. So I got involved in the concert committee, right? You can do that. Other ways at school, you can be on the radio station. You can write entertainment at the school. These things, any things you did, Michelle? Maybe not. She was singing. Okay, she was busy.
I was singing. I was in the shows. I was performing.
There you go. Okay, so she picked her.
I was on the other side.
She on the other side, the good side. You can read books about the music. There have always been business books out there about the music business. When I was growing up in the business, there was one. It's called This Business of Music, 500-page freaking opus on the music business in a blue cover. Today's opus, the one of choice, is Don Passman's book, Everything You Want to Know About the Music Business or something. But what's also happens, there's 10,000 books on the music business now if you go on Amazon. Most of them written by people I really don't know what they did, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Here's a new phenomenon, folks. If you want to learn how to do the music business, go online, YouTube. You can type in how to do anything in the world, right? So there's all kinds of ways. People can go online and see the interviews we've had with countless of the smartest, talented people in the music business, and they sit side by side with everybody's take on the music business. Internships. Cody's been involved with internships. You know, lots of people got involved working for free at some kind of music business, kind of a great way to get experience. The point of it is it's all about experience here. And so I want to segue into this notion of where I'm trying to see if I can help you. When I started in the business, I want to talk about mentors and their importance. When I started in the business, well, I mentioned I started on my own, started my own company because I couldn't get a job. And so I started this little company called Steve Rennie Presents and started promoting shows around town. And over the course of doing that, I caught the attention of the big dogs that were paying some attention to this kid who's like skanking around town stealing shows from time to time. The names of those two guys, they hired me at Avalanche X. There was a guy named Bob Geddes and Brian Murphy. Brian Murphy, who works at AEG now, was like Ozzie Nelson. He was like my protector. He's always caring, very soft-spoken. Bob Geddes, on the other hand, was Clint Eastwood. He was this guy that was scary. I'd walk in there, you know, big tough guy, and walk out of his office going, oh my God, Jesus, you know? And I'll just go tough guy, somebody else. And I learned right then, there's always somebody tougher than you out there. And when you're swinging that big tough guy thing, make sure you're swinging at somebody you can take, because you get in mixed with some big boys, they'll eat you up. The point of the message is those guys took an interest in me, and they allowed me to be a part of their world. They allowed me to sit in meetings where they were talking to other big players in the business, and they made it very clear. You sit on that couch, Steve, and you listen. We don't need to know how smart you are. If we want to know something, I'll ask you. Otherwise, just sit there, just like you folks are sitting here today, okay? And I'm doing all the talking. Been there, done that. But for me, it was the greatest thing in the world, right? And what I'm hoping to do over the course of the next 12 weeks is to do for you folks and do for you folks out there the same thing those guys did for me when I was, to help me understand it. The reason it's important is if I have experience about how to get here from point A to point B, and you have a theory about how to get there, and it happens all the time. Young people are always saying, oh, I know, right? And then you get together with a bunch of older guys, and you know what they say? I don't know shit. When I was a kid, I didn't know crap. Here's what I know. I don't know anything. That's what the smart people are saying. I don't know anything. All the dumb guys are going, I know, I'm an expert, I know. The mentors know. So if I can help you skip over some stuff that you think is the right path, and I'm telling you, dude, it's like an illusion, do it. That's what mentors were. So I'm hoping for all you folks out there that are really interested in the music business, that I can be your wacky mentor, your crazy, well-connected uncle in the music business. And all I'm going to ask you is to believe. Do your homework. Check everybody's credentials. I can help you. But if you persist, and you must go through it yourself, and you find out that you stepping in that pile of dog doo is going to smell just as bad on your shoes as it did on mine, I might skip over you to the person that's got some clean sneakers, okay? Best way to learn, I've found over the years, is to hang out with smart people. Seems simple enough. If you want to learn how to play golf, hang out with great golfers, hang out with great tennis players, hang out with great tennis. You get smarter. The reason I say that is some people take it for granted. And I find that they hang out with people that they're most comfortable with, even if they're not people that are challenging you, right? You know, I can't be with that person. Skip that. I want to be with that person. Make them throw you out of the room. Hang out with smart people. That's what you need to do. I'll give you another bit of advice based on all my experience of dealing with people in this business. Hanging out by my mentors, I was surrounded by people that were out there doing it and succeeding and defying the odds. So hanging out with those people made me think that I could do it. Today's world, the internet. I have never seen anything like this. When you go on the internet, how many experts there are, right? I'm an expert on the business. I'll tell you who's an expert on the business. Irving Azoff's an expert on the business, okay? The people that are doing big things that you read, those are experts on the business. When you read something of an expert and you've never heard them, they have no resume, they've never done anything of significance except get YouTube views, remind yourself that you can buy YouTube views, but you can't buy experience. But you can borrow experience from your mentor. So hang out with smart people. Beware of those internet experts. Beware of those internet predators that know how to put up a website, but really don't understand the music business, right? Those are the things you need to be thinking about. Now, if I ask you folks today, and this we can ask for the folks in the audience today too, Michelle, if I ask you what was the single most difficult part for you, Victor, when you came out here and went into the music business, what's the most difficult part for you?
I would have to say getting a following.
A following,
I was
okay,
a new guy out here, you know, I really didn't know anybody.
okay.
Started surrounding myself with people that were doing the same stuff, open mics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get, I guess, my foot in the door, you know?
So you were networking at the musician level.
Yes.
Okay. And once you've made the music, then what do you need?
And now, since I've been learning, I need to get a lot more stuff happening. I need to find someone to help.
Bigger than you, just that job?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you need to find people that can help you.
Definitely.
Right? What's the biggest obstacle to getting people to help you?
Finding people willing to help you.
Access?
Yes.
Okay, access. How about you, John?
Yeah, to say it's the access too, because I mean, I do have like an international fan base, but I mean, to get into like the major record labels, you need to like have people, you need to have people shop it to the labels.
Not
And-
just people, right?
Yeah,
People
like-
they know.
Yeah,
People they're friendly with.
yeah,
People they have track record with, right? The new buzzword is curated, right?
yeah.
Used to be connected, right? It's connected. So this issue of access, right, is a huge issue when you're just getting started in any business, by the way. You know, now I did a whole seminar about networking, which I'll send you to creativelive.com if you want to check it out, because there's a whole thing about networking and finding a way. But I'm going to make it easier for all you people. If you haven't been to the website before, I want to show you the guest list of the people that we can introduce you to. Dee, you got it over there? Okay, there's our website. It's called RenmanMusicandBusiness.com if you don't know. We've done a bunch of shows, 90 shows where I've sat at that desk over there, a little bit different format, more chat show, talking to some of the smartest, most talented, most connected people in the music business, artists, managers, publishers, songwriters, producers, record company people, you know, technology people, smart people that are doing it. Remember, we're going to listen to the doers, people that are smart people. How do I know they're smart? They're succeeding, okay? And you can plug in with them today and pick their brains, because I did it for you. But you got to do your homework and you got to go and spend some time there. So that guest list, who are some of the people? We had Troy Carter, we've had Jim Garno, we've had Nate Roos, we've had Bob Lefsetz, you know, Jason Fla. One big smart hitter after another, man, women, child, all of them, okay? And if you can't learn something from them, then you're not serious. Then just be a music lover, right? Make your life easy, right? Be like Nora. She's smiling all day long. She's not even scared anymore, okay? All right, so how are we going to do this Renman U thing? Hey, I don't want to be like all those other schools. How are you going to do it, Steve? Well, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to use all of the technology at our disposal. Here we are today, streaming live to the whole world, okay? Why don't colleges do that? I don't know, but it's not my job to figure that out. That's what we're going to do. If you are in another city and you want to ask a smart person something, how are you going to do it? You used to have to show up. I had to show up. Now, chat room. Anybody got any questions in there, Michelle?
We got a lot of difficulties answering your question. They're most difficult.
My
things that
questions
they
are
had. Yeah,
difficult?
no.
Oh.
You asked what was the most difficult.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
sure,
we got a
tell me.
lot of answers. By the way, everybody, you're all amazing. We got a lot of amens to being a broke musician.
Yeah, okay.
Somebody wrote, the toughest part for me is coming back after failure.
Okay, we're going to talk about that next week. And I'm going to tell you, that's all about getting your head in the right place to do something great. Go ahead, another one.
We got Darren Kaczynski said getting fans is tough. Dedicated
Didn't we
true
cover
fans.
that, Dee? Did we cover that? Fans tough? Does that file under this business is tough? Yeah, I think we could. There you go. All right. Well, I'm not trying to take the piss out of you, my friend, but we'll talk about it. But of course it's tough. If it was easy, any moron can do it. What else have we got in there?
Pushing aside the fact that I see good in everyone else to realize how many tests there are in it.
You know, let me tell you something. Life is full of tests. It's not just in the music business, okay? There are people that have tested a lot more than whether you got a hit record. Next.
We got another really good one from Furion UK.
Fury in the UK.
Yes.
God bless you. You're watching in the UK. What time is it there? 2 o'clock in the morning. Woo! Yeah, baby.
Fury in UK says the hard bit is accepting just how much harder than the others you have to work and how much it takes to stand out.
Well, at least you figured it out, Fury, okay? That's the start. People wonder why I wake up early. Because I'm scared to death that somebody's going to pass me in the middle of the night.
Yep.
You guys, these two guys are working. We start at 9 o'clock in the morning here at Renman's. When's the last time, Cody Romness, you showed up at 9 o'clock?
I don't know, and Joe's even here before me.
Joe's before him. 7 o'clock, these guys are here in the morning, okay? Joe, I got to kick these guys out of here, okay? So, yeah, man, I'm with you. Remember, there's the face, folks. That's what it's like. Okay, but we're going to fix it. You got to get through that. What else we got, Michelle?
We got, let's see, getting out of my own way and just going for it. So kind of just like.
Oh, God. Yeah. You know what? It's a big problem. Not just in the music business. I'm a golfer. That's something I try to go through every day. When you know what to do, right, and you want to do it, why can't you just do it? I'll give you the short version. We'll talk some more about it next week. Because you're thinking too much, man. At some point, you got to commit, and you got to accept the outcome. And once you've done that, that's the guy you see on the military channel in the middle of a battle that's just standing there going, bang, 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 and some other kook is sitting around the corner with the AK-47, and he gets shot by the guy standing. You know why? Because that guy's accepted that he could get killed. He's over it. Now I'm going to try to get the other guys, and flipping around the corner ain't going to get it done, right? So what else? One more, and then we'll go.
One more. The real McCoy, finding a dedicated team. Your team is so important.
We're going to talk about it. I'm going to give you a little outline of what we got coming up here. But those are all great questions here. How we doing, Code? All right. We're going to make this interactive. We just proved it right there. Now, why aren't colleges doing that? Tell me, why aren't they doing that? Don't know. Not my problem, okay? So no matter where you live, you can get involved. You already saw one of the gags that we got here through our friends at Ustream, where I can now make sure all those people sitting at home are actually paying attention, and I'm moving you to the front of the class. So for even the shy ones, right? You'd probably love that. No, you just push the button, but I'm embarrassing the hell out of her making her push it right here, okay? That's what we're going to do. Instapon, we talk. So here's something else we're going to do. So much gets talked about the good old days. Oh, in the old days, it was it. Hey, you know what? I was just sitting there talking with my buddy Pat Magnaron today about the good old days. And what I told him was, I'm so glad that you and I got a chance to do it when we did. But the truth is, he's still out there doing it in today's world. I'm still out there doing it in today's world. So we're going to talk about today's music business, folks. If I reference the past, it's only to provide some perspective to what you're going through today. I have no desire to sit around with my 58-year-old buddies and revel in the good old days. I'm too interested in what happens from here forward to revel in the old days. That's great. That's why they have the 19th hole at a golf course to talk about what happened. It's fun. I'm interested in what's to come. That's been the way. So we're going to talk about that music business because that, John, that is the music business that you guys get. And there's no crying. We talk that's tough. We get all that. Okay, next. I mentioned this issue of access and how you're going to get access to people. We're going to do it by introducing you and all those smart people. You're going to do your homework. And I'm going to invite some more people into the mix as part of our Renman U course here to talk about some things in an expert fashion, much more expert to me where I understand the big picture, but part of my MO has been to hire real experts in each of those key main areas. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to introduce you to those smart people. I'm going to tell you a little bit about their careers and hope that you can learn something from. So now we're going to get into the curriculum. I know it took a long time to get there. I want to talk about what you can expect over the next 12 weeks, okay? So we're starting today with a little overview on the class. Everybody still there, Michelle?
Yeah, I got a funny comment.
Go ahead.
Fury in UK says you should bring your own line of coffee so he could face work in a few hours. Because you love coffee and everybody
I do love coffee.
Mics.
But you would have, I'll tell you what, tell Fury right now, is that coffee in there or is that English breakfast tea? Cheers, old buddy.
He wakes up early just for your show.
Good. You might need
He's
you to come.
overwhelmed.
I might need you to come and
Overwhelmed.
save me next week, Fury. Okay. You know what? I've spent a lot of time in the UK over the years, and one of the reasons I had to wake up so early in the morning, my first batch of bands were all from England. So 6 o'clock was 2 o'clock. And so I just got up early. I was calling those guys. Oh, boy, hello. What time is it there, Steve? And I said, it's after lunch. Put the beer down. Let's talk, man, okay? So anyway, here's what you can expect over the next week. First thing, next week we're going to talk about the big picture, how to get your head in the right place to do something great. Now, if you go on our website, there's a link on the front page that says Big Picture. For your homework assignment next week, folks, I want you to look through all 12 of those videos. I know Victor's seeing them all. They're thoughts are going to go, duh. But we're going to talk about them in more detail because those 12 lessons that we're going to talk about, things like dream it, do it, fuck the gapers, money wants an opinion, you know, making it personal, are the big picture thoughts that I've learned over the years that guide me on all the little decisions. So that's going to be all about getting your head in the right place to do something, to work through the fear, to work through the failure and all the things that you just talked about. In the next session, session 3, we're going to talk about, session 3, excuse me, we're going to talk about this idea of building a team. Did somebody just ask a question about that? How's he going to get his team together? But that's an important part of it. Why? Because if you're doing something big, right, Mitch, it's bigger than one person. So you're going to need some help, and getting the team together is what you need. I'm going to talk about who your key team members are. Your manager, your agent, your lawyer, your business manager, your publicist, and on down the road. I'm going to tell you how they work for you, what they're supposed to be doing, how it all works together. And we're going to talk about why you need the team, but I think everybody's probably pretty convinced of that already. Okay, once we get through that, you've got your head in the right place to do something great. You've built a professional team, or at least you know, Victor, who to be out there looking for, and you have a sense of what you do. So when you hire that person, you're going to go, now look, here's what I'm looking to do, here's what I need you to do, here's where I am, here's where I'd like to go. Tell me how you'd get there, which is a much better and smarter conversation than, would you be my publicist? Would you be my accountant? I don't know how to count. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? That's not a great start. So we're going to talk about building that professional team, right? We're also going to talk about something that I've found over the years in dealing with musicians in particular, is something they shy away from. This is my art. You ever say that, John? This is my art. It's precious. I hate it when you talk about it like it's a freaking can of soup, Steve, right? Okay? This is my art. Well, we're going to talk about your art, your music, as a business. And we're going to approach it as a business. We're all living in California. Everybody's starting startups in Silicon Valley. They're building businesses. And there's a form to it. There are some big picture things that they talk about all the time that if you inserted music and made that your product, if you inserted distribution and understood that it's the same whether you're selling bread or selling music, if you understand that financing a business is no different than you trying to figure out how to get the money to make a record, get the money to do a video. That person was talking about, how do I get the money? That's called financing. So we're going to talk about all that stuff in the context of your career as a business, not as a precious piece of art. And the real music business is not a freaking museum, folks, okay? It's a place of commerce. And if you understand that and accept it, then you'll understand how this works for you, okay? Once you've got that in your head, you're thinking right, you've got an idea about your team, you understand where those team members fit, and you're going to look at your career as a business because you want to make money at it, right? Then you're going to sit there and come to the grips with, now I'm in business, and this notion of organizing your business is about, you were looking for a record deal. Would you say a good record deal?
Great record.
A great record deal. But today, I bet you don't know what a great record label deal looks like, right?
Correct.
And so there's lots of contract stuff that you're going to be getting into if you're successful. And I've seen so many artists over the years go, well, I don't want to deal with that, Steve. Well, those are the people that you read about that signed some dumbass production deal with some guy that didn't have track record, who owns your publishing and the whole thing, and you never get a record deal, and then you're stuck with this knucklehead for years. Those are the kind of things. So the key ones are band agreements. If you're in a band, how you get the band together, how you end the band, how band members come in, how they go out. Publishing deal, same thing. How you get paid, what are the advances, all of the nuances of that we're going to talk. Management agreements, important. You're going to sign with a manager, okay? Most of these manager things last for 5 minutes, okay? But at the end of the deal, all of them end. So you're going to talk about the beginning, what everybody's doing, and you talk about the end. That's what we're going to talk about, management deal. Record deal, same thing. So this idea of organizing your business is all about getting and tidying up your contracts and the stuff that you're going to be bound by for years. And I'll likely bring in a real attorney to help us with this, because these are things that I understand in a general level, but the actual detail stuff, which bores the tears out of me, we'll probably let a lawyer come in and talk about. Your manager. Looking for a manager, Victor?
Yep.
John?
Yeah.
Yeah. Found one yet?
No.
Nope.
Do you know what a good manager is? I'm not talking about their personality. I'm not talking about whether they're with your favorite band or not. Do you know what qualities they should have? What you should be looking for in a good manager?
Connections.
Well, we're going to talk about all that stuff because it's important. Because everybody calls me, Steve, I need a manager. Can you be my manager? No, I'm not going to be your manager, but you even know what it is. So important to know what makes good manager. What are the qualities of a good manager? This is all the stuff before you get to who. It's the what, right? What's the manager's role? How does that artist-manager relationship work? When do I get a manager? How do I find a manager? We're going to talk about all of that under manager, because that is one of the single most important decisions you're going to make after you make the music, right? Lots of great bands out there. All the great bands typically had great managers, and if they were growing on trees, everybody would be a great band and everybody would be a great manager. Okay, that's that. Now, once you got all that in place, here we're going to talk about the music side of this, Steve. We are going to talk about making great music. We've already talked to some great songwriters on the site. We've talked to people like Nate Roos and Nick Hexum and Brandon Boyd and Tom Kelly, Grammy Award-winning people, right? We're going to give you some insight from them and show you some of their videos about they're talking about writing the songs, right? I'm going to give you some of my thoughts about how that music, what context it gets delivered into. But at the end of the day, this is really the guts. Without making great music, the rest of this doesn't freaking matter. So we're going to talk about making great music. Once you made great music, right? Everybody's got 2 million, 5 million people have released their records. Talked to 4 last week, great talented people on Reverb Nation. Well, I've released my record. What'd you do? I put it on iTunes. Huh, okay. We're on iTunes. Well, it's there. Is it on the front page? No. Is it anywhere in there? No. Who knows about it? Marketing and promotion, right? We talked about it. The biggest problem, how to stand out from the crowd. That's marketing and promotion, right? And everybody wants to talk about record labels, but the first thing you want to know and to figure out is what are the things that help get your music above the radar, right? And understand from function. I'm all about understand the what before you figure out the who, right? Because the truth of the matter is so many of you out there are going to be doing the marketing and promotion yourself unless you're lucky enough to have a chance to have a conversation with a record label who actually do that for a living. And so we're going to talk about all that stuff, what they do, why you need one, the label departments, that notion of indie versus major, how to get a label, and we're going to talk about all the stuff that goes on whether you're with a label or not, how to get on the radio, how to make a great video, how to get great photos, how to get a great publicist, how to build an online strategy, how to license your music, all of those things. It's a lot, isn't it? Or aren't you glad you're not doing this for a living? God, you're so smart. So that's what we're going to talk, marketing, promotion, and record labels. Music publishing, right? You wrote a great song. Now you want to turn it into money. It's kind of looks like one of the most boring things in the world, but music publishing for musicians and artists and songwriters today is hugely important because this is where you make your money from the music as opposed to the performance. So when we talk about publishing, we're going to talk about what it is that publishers do. Most people don't have a clue what it is that publishers do. They go, I started my own publishing company. Really? What are you doing? Well, I started my company. I named it. It's called Victor Haitian Song. Okay, great. What's it doing? Well, And so we're gonna answer all that. I'm not gonna pick on you, Big. What do they do? How do they do it? Where do they go out and get music? How do they add value to the equation? How do you get the money out of the publishers? How do you calculate the money? So we're gonna go through all of that. And might again bring in. We've had some people that have talked about publishing. Jody Gerson, one of the smartest people in the music. He runs the biggest publishing company in the world. Listen to that video before you come back. But we're gonna talk about all that. And finally, we're going to talk about touring. That's where bands make their money to. That's where artists make their money to. You know what's great about touring? You show up. I keep coming back to it. You show up. You do your thing. You get paid. Record company, 6 months. Here's the accounting statement. Here's all the stories. Here's the publishing. Here's the thing. Here's the 26 pages of this. Concert business. Hey! We showed up, band played, I'm here, come to Papa. Thank you very much, lovely, bang, done. Any questions in there, Michelle, before we get out of here?
You guys have any questions?
Nothing yet?
Nothing
I've
yet.
scared them to death, folks, okay? So
Nothing
that's
yet.
all the stuff we're going to do. And then the last session, I'm not a moron, that session 12 would be us getting together like you do at every other class and talking about the things that we've learned, trying to give some context to it, and see if at the end of this 12 weeks, whether you're sitting on the couch or out there phoning in or texting in, you'll tell me, hey, Rennie, I have a much better idea of how this works now. Still not going to help you write that song necessarily, but maybe Nate Roos or one of these other guys can give you some thoughts. So that's what we're going to be covering over the course of the next 12 weeks. What do I do without my clicker? I want to talk a little bit about that Renman Music and Business website again for a second. Okay, so if we put it up on the board there. We started this website, for you folks that don't know, to help mentor musicians. Actually, I started because I thought it would be fun. I did 12 videos, right? And scroll down a little bit, Joe, that are part of, the first 12 videos this way, Joe. Thank you. Down up to the top of the page. Why am I? Okay, whoa, I'm going to throw up. Sorry, up a little bit. A little bit more up, a little bit more. Anyway, down there you'll see big picture in Ren 101. When I started this website, I had this idea. There, they stop, Joe. Big picture in Ren 101. We're 12 videos they did in the big picture. We're going to talk about them next week. This Ren 101 was talking about the nuts and bolts of it. That was where we started. I should have stopped right then. I was going to spend 10 grand, then I kept going, all right? But that's where we started. And then we started this web show called Renman Live, where we've now had over 90 shows with some of the smartest, most talented people around. Just on the front page, Andy Biersack talking about how he met his manager. D.A. Wallach talking about how to get money from streaming services. Me talking about record labels and so forth. It's a great, great, great resource for you guys. We showed you our guest list, the smartest people around. If you were going to college at USC, and I don't know what those buildings are, but I believe it was, what was the Doheny Library, right? You'd spend time in there, right? Maybe Matt and Rennie and I didn't spend enough time in there, but that's where you're supposed to be. We have a library. It's right there. It's those videos. So I encourage you to check it out. And for next week's session, I want to give you a little preview. We talk about one of the things that has become my motto. Victor's wearing one of them. The first one is dream it, do it. We've talked about it. Dreaming's easy. The people that are moving the needle in this world, the people that are doing great things, the people that you read about in the newspaper, whether it's Nelson Mandela or freaking Kanye West. Boy, that's a bad bookend. Nelson Mandela and Bono, okay? They're out there doing great things because they dreamed and then they did. And I'm going to turn all you dreamers into doers. But if you're going to deal with this music business, right, you are going to need to get an attitude. And that attitude is all about fuck the gatekeepers, right, and making things happen. So I want to encourage you to go and look at all those big picture things. And I want to ask you to do one more thing for me. We're talking about getting started. You're just getting started. You know, you've been at it a while, but I think, you know, I would say you're still getting started. Until you get these other pieces to come together, you're really still on square one. I mentioned to you, I've been the manager of Incubus for 16 years, right? And on Friday was my last day because I decided I needed to start over again on something. So just like all you folks out there today that are dreaming of doing something big, worried about how to get started, you're watching it right here. I'm at one with you. You get started by doing it. And that's what we did today. I've been dreaming about this thing for years, dreaming about trying to figure out how to help people in a way that was comfortable for me, that a way was productive for the other people, that could include everybody. So just like you, I'm starting today from square one, and we're going to build something great together. So go out there, dream it, do it, and get the fuck the gatekeepers attitude to make it happen. So I want to thank you folks for being here. Any final parting shots from our folks online?
We have a couple questions. One really good one is from Ben Hawkins. Any advice for making a press kit?
We're going to talk about that under marketing and promotion, but in the meantime, because you can go to the library at our virtual campus, go check out the interview with Leslie Zimmerman. Top Line published, she's got some thoughts about it, but we'll talk some more about that in our marketing and promotion session. Any other questions, Michelle?
Can we attend future classes in person?
Cody Romness, you'll find that I'm quite the delegator here. Yes, you can. There are 3 people showed here today.
How do they do that?
Huh?
They want to know how.
Cody, well, get their name and Cody.
Follow us on our email subscription and our Twitter.
Oh, by the way, before I quit, let me bring that. Thank you, Cody. If you want to follow us, the best way to keep in touch with all the goings on here at RenmanMB, on Twitter at RenmanMB, Facebook.com, RenmanMB, Instagram, if you just want to look at funny pictures of dogs in golf, at RenmanMB, and some pretty pictures of Michelle, and YouTube, which is our treasure chest of 500, what is it, 500 plus videos, Code? Smartest people in the business. People you couldn't get on the phone, couldn't sit on their couch, but their brain's been picked. All you got to do is show up, right? Anything else, Michelle?
A lot of love to everybody here, saying thank you, they love you, and everyone behind the scenes too.
I think they love her the most, but that's okay. I want to thank Michelle for helping out my son, Matt Rennie. Nate Roos calls him the Renegade, okay? He's been making me look at Cody Romness, my ace man in the hole, Joe Lilac, and Darren LeGros for making me look at, and our newest intern, we're calling him the new Cody Cohen from right here, one of my Matt Rennie's buds. So I want to thank you for joining us here today, folks. We'll be back again next Wednesday. One final question. Joe, do you have that poll listed there? We typically have done our shows at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, mostly because I'm an early morning person, right? And I've had all kinds of people in the music business who don't get up that early whinge about it. This is the first one we did at 5 o'clock. So before we leave today, I want to put one final poll up there asking you to tell me what is the best time of the day. We're going to give it to you in Pacific time. I'll let you guys do the math on that. Tell us what the best time is for you. I can't guarantee that we'll do it at that time, but I want to make this as easy for people to get their arms around as possible, okay? So I'll let it slide there. You guys keep answering that. Let the poll go for a second. Any questions from you lot right here? You've been a fine bunch here, by the way. That was a fine crack of the knuckles. I don't know if you heard that, but that was good stuff.
They're good, Ren.
Huh?
Yeah.
You're good. You're good.
Excited.
All right, great stuff. I want to thank you guys all for joining us. We'll be back again here next week. My name's Steve Rennie. I'm the Dean of Renman U. We'll see you back here. Don't be late. All right.